Hello, it's Mr. Drake, and I have another story to share with you today. It's a story all about a boy and an apple. A boy who just wanted to eat an apple, but he couldn't because he had a loose tooth. It's something I think that all of us have gone through at one time or another. But this story is portrayed, written by one of our favorite authors, Robert Munsch, who has his own silly way of addressing what we do to get rid of a loose tooth. And you'll see in this story that Andrew gets a lot of help. So let's see what happens with Andrew's loose tooth. Find the first page here. All right. When Andrew came downstairs, there were 3 big apples in the middle of the table, and even though he had a loose tooth, he decided to eat an apple. So he reached out, he picked up an apple, and he shined it on his shirt and took a bite and yelled, "Yow! Mommy, do something about this tooth. It hurts so much, I can't even eat my apple." Andrew's mother opened up his mouth and looked inside. "Uh-oh," she said, "it's a loose tooth. I know what to do." She took hold of the tooth with both hands and pulled as hard as she could, but the tooth did not come out. "Oh, Andrew," she said, "I just can't get that tooth out. Why don't you try to get another apple? That might help get your tooth out." So Andrew reached out. He picked up an apple and shined it on his shirt and took a bite and yelled, "Yow! Daddy, do something about this tooth. It hurts so much I can't even eat my apple." So Andrew's father opened up his mouth and looked inside. "Oh," he said, "it's a loose tooth. I know what to do." Looks like he's got some sisters hanging around too who aren't much help. Sisters aren't usually much help, I think. Well, he got a big pair of pliers and he took a hold of Andrew's tooth. Then he put his foot on Andrew's nose and pulled as hard as he could, but the tooth did not come out. Looked like it did a real job with his pliers too. "Oh, Andrew," he said, "this tooth is stuck. Why don't you try another apple? That will make your tooth come out." Well, I guess his sister is trying to help out. She's at least offering him an apple. So Andrew reached out and he picked up an apple and he shined it on his shirt again and took a bite and yelled, "Yow! Mommy, Daddy, do something about this tooth. It hurts so much I can't even eat my apple." So they called a dentist. Well, the dentist came in a shiny black car. He opened up Andrew's mouth, looked inside and said, "Oh, it's a loose tooth. I know what to do." Good thing he's found an expert, I guess. He got a big long rope and he tied one end to Andrew's tooth. Andrew said, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to do. You're going to tie the end of that rope to the door, and you're going to slam the door." "No," said the dentist. "I'm going to tie it to my car." Well, he tied the other end of the rope to his car and drove away as fast as he could. When he got to the end of the rope, his whole car fell apart. The dentist stood there, holding just his steering wheel. Looks like Andrew thinks that's pretty funny. Then Andrew's mother and his father and the dentist all said, Andrew, that tooth will not come out. You just can't eat your breakfast." Andrew sat in the front yard looking very sad. His best friend Louis came along and said, "Andrew, what's the matter?" "Oh," said Andrew, "my mother can't get this tooth out. My father can't get this tooth out. The dentist can't get this tooth out. And I can't eat my breakfast. Oh, said Louis. I know what to do. Louis went into Andrew's house and he called the tooth fairy on the phone. The tooth fairy roared up right away in a large motorcycle. Andrew looked at the tooth fairy and said, "If you think you're going to use that motorcycle to pull out my tooth, you are nuts." "What do you think I am?" said the tooth fairy. "A dentist?" I really like the way she's got teeth on the horn for her motorcycle. Well, she pulled Andrew's tooth with one hand, and the tooth did not come out. She pulled Andrew's tooth with two hands, and the tooth did not come out. She got a large hammer off her motorcycle and clanged Andrew's loose tooth. The hammer broke in two pieces, and the tooth still did not come out. "Incredible," said the tooth fairy. "This is the first tooth ever that I can't pull out. I guess you just can't eat your breakfast." "Hold it," said Louis. "I have an idea." Louis went into Andrew's house and got a pepper shaker. Then he pushed back Andrew's head and he sprinkled pepper up Andrew's nose. Andrew went, "Ah, ah, ah, achoo!" And out of his mouth came the tooth. And he sneezed that tooth all the way across town. And if you look, you can see it going along here around a garbage can, right around a policeman, through a lady's donuts as she drops all of her groceries, through a bush, right over a dog's head, chased a man up a telephone pole, and through another man's newspaper. But there goes a tooth fairy. But the tooth fairy still got her tooth. And in the end, it looks like Andrew and his friend got their apples. Well, I hope you enjoyed that story and maybe learned a few tricks on how to get a loose tooth out. So I wish you the best of luck with your next loose tooth, and I hope you're able to enjoy apples these days like I am. That's a good apple. Thank you for reading Andrew's Loose Tooth with me.